But first, it's a GB News exclusive. 6 migrants have been injured in the latest wave of asylum seeker violence in northern France. So this latest round of attacks, caught on video obtained by GB News, erupted on a beach near Dunkirk and resulted in at least 2 of the migrants being stabbed multiple times as people smugglers tried to stop them forcing their way onto small boats, apparently without paying. So the incident at Plage was followed by more violence in the same area a short time later, when police came under attack from a large group of migrants who threw stones, bottles and other missiles at the officers. A security source said the situation in northern France was becoming extremely dangerous for French law enforcement and for the migrants. Well, it follows an incident just last week, doesn't it, in which a migrant was stabbed to death in the makeshift camp of Plage near Dunkirk. We had one who'd already been stabbed on a boat on the way here the other week as well. I'm very pleased to say I am joined now by a man very much at the heart of this story, the regional councillor for the Rassemblement National and municipal councillor for Dunkirk. It is Philippe Eymery. Philippe, thank you very much for joining us. How bad is the situation in Dunkirk?
I think the situation in Dunkirk is more bad than I believe, because I have to say thank you, GB News is with you. I can see those pictures. We cannot see those pictures in French. There is a kind of omerta. There is a kind of lie of the government, of the French government. And when I have been contacted by you in the afternoon, I have looked on the French newspaper and I see that there is one man who has been killed, that there are 4 migrants which have been stabbed. But I have not read that the police officer have been forced to jump back in their beach buggies and retreat, as I just have seen on your video.
And what kind of people are we now bringing to Britain across the Channel? What kind of people do you think?
I think what we have seen is a kind of a struggle between the migrant and the people smugglers, because there are not enough small boats, and more people want to go on the small boats, but and they are fighting together to find the place. And maybe some migrants, they have no money to give to the people smuggler. It's very sad, because I want to tell you, each time a human being is killed, stabbed, in such circumstances, it's a sad and bad news. So the question is how to avoid this situation. And myself, I am among those who we are thinking that we have to consider the way followed by the Australian authorities since 10 years. No way is the watchword for all the migrants and people smugglers. Without this kind of message and action, the migrants and people smugglers are believing that once they have succeeded to enter in one country, they won't be sent back.
So, final question, Philippe. You live in Dunkirk, and
yes,
you would be in favour of the Brits towing the boats back as a deterrent, yes?
I have not well understood what you said.
Would you be in favour of us turning the boats back, like Australia?
Yes, for sure. I think that the way the Australian government since 10 years has done, it's a kind of success. They have resolved, and the number of migrants has been drastically reduced. So I think we have to find the same kind of policy. And when, by example, an agreement is found between Italian government and Tunisian government, and now we have heard about a kind of agreement with Union European and Egypt to we have to do all with what has been to be done, so that
do everything that needs to be done.
Will stay in Africa.
Philippe, thank you very, very much. Much appreciated. Thank you for joining us, and I hope to talk to you again very soon, my good man. That is Philippe Eymery there, who is a councillor in Dunkirk. Well, look, you heard it there. That bloke there in France, from exactly the place where we might be towing the boats back to, by the way, saying he'd be banging in favour of it. I'm joined now by Tory MP and Parliamentary Private Secretary to the Home Secretary. It's James Sunderland. James, thank you very much. Great to have you on the show. Look, what's stopping us? We've got videos here of violent thugs preparing to cross the English Channel. You've got people in France saying they'd be more than happy for us to tow the boats back. What are we playing at?
Isn't it fascinating? The scenes are quite something. It shows a level of desperation amongst the migrants and the people smugglers. It shows desperation, perhaps, for wanting to get on a boat and come across to the UK before the Rwanda bill becomes law. The stabbings are indicative of increased violence and desperation. The scenes are quite shocking. And what's really fascinating is that the French authorities themselves now are clearly advocating a much more draconian way of dealing with the problem.
OK. You're not concerned that that violence is coming over here? I mean, if those people are prepared to behave like that, then what would stop them behaving like that on the streets of Britain? And with respect as well, you know, being plonked at a migrant hotel somewhere near a school or somewhere near, I don't know, my grandma's house.
Well, first of all, we've got no idea who these people are, where they're from. There's clearly an increased security risk when they come across. Those security checks are necessary. It's impossible to do checks on people you don't know who they are. I agree with your point completely about asylum seekers and migrants being housed next to schools. We've seen concerns already being raised on that. And quite clearly, we cannot allow people into the country that we don't know who they are. Therefore, it is imperative that we stop the small boats. It's imperative that we stop people coming here illegally. And it's imperative that the Rwanda bill sails through and that we get flights off to Rwanda.
Right, OK. I mean, look, Rwanda has apparently started selling off a bit of housing over there. We've seen in the Rwanda files revealed by GB News that quite possibly only about 500 people might be coming. We know we're going to have a bit of good weather this summer. I think your big boss, James Cleverly, did say, well, there's not a lot we can do about the weather. So what is the plan? I mean, you can't put all your eggs in this Rwanda basket. We're going to have a bit of ping pong going on there. Sunak says he might leave the ECHR. I mean, so what at this point, really? But what's going to happen, James? Come on, we need more solutions than this.
Well, Patrick, first of all, millions of people are on the move. You look at Southern Europe, this is a big problem. And of course, the EU themselves are looking very closely at what's happening in the UK right now and our approach to the law. But the Rwanda plan, the Rwanda bill, is just part of a much broader strategy. So it's all about intercepting boat paths. It's about intelligence operations. It's about working with the police to stop the departure of boats. But it's impossible over a 200-mile frontage down on the northern west French coast. It's also about disincentivizing people wanting to come to the UK illegally through the Rwanda plan. And my view is, and the view of the Prime Minister, is that once that plan becomes law, and once people arrive in the UK knowing that they will be deported in accordance with the law, that should disincentivise further crossing.
Look, I really hope, and I know you share this hope as well, absolutely, I want to make that very clear, but I really hope that those kind of scenes that we see there on the beaches, we do not end up seeing them here, and British citizens, or anyone else who happens to be in Britain for that matter, you know, falls victim to that kind of stuff, because I think there will be, rightly so, a lot of outrage about that. Can I just thank you, James, as well, for making yourself available to us at this late hour in the day? That's James Sunderland there, who is Tory MP and Parliamentary Private Secretary to the Home Secretary. Look, shocking stuff we showed you there from the beaches in Dunkirk. Interesting to hear from that chap in Dunkirk, though.